Catherine gazed out the window of her sleek city apartment one last time before turning away. The skyline that once filled her with inspiration now felt oppressive, a constant reminder of a life she was eager to leave behind. Fresh from a tumultuous divorce, she craved solitude, a place to heal and rediscover her passion for interior design. When she stumbled upon a listing for a quaint country house nestled deep within a dense forest, it felt like fate. Without hesitation, she poured her remaining savings into purchasing the secluded property. The winding road that led to her new home was enveloped by towering trees, their leaves whispering secrets as the wind rustled through them. The isolation didn't intimidate her. If anything, it was a balm to her weary soul. The first few days were uneventful, filled with unpacking and sketching new designs inspired by the natural surroundings. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the living room, Catherine noticed peculiar scratches etched into the wooden doorframe. Thin and jagged, they seemed too deliberate to be the work of animals. She brushed it off, chalking it up to the old house settling, or perhaps a forest creature seeking shelter. But as the days passed, the scratches didn't fade. They grew deeper, multiplying in number. At night, she began hearing faint rustling noises, like footsteps shuffling across creaky floorboards, and muffled whispers that seemed to emanate from the very walls themselves. The once comforting silence of the countryside now felt heavy and oppressive. Unease gnawing at her, Catherine delved into the house's history, scouring old newspapers and local archives online. Her search unearthed the story of a reclusive man who had owned the house decades prior, a hermit shunned by the nearby townsfolk, rumored to dabble in dark rituals. He had vanished without a trace, leaving behind questions that had faded into local lore. Intrigued and disturbed, she reached out to the town's elderly historian, a man whose age seemed to rival the ancient trees surrounding her home. His eyes clouded with caution as he recounted tales of a restless spirit tethered to the house and the forest beyond, a presence that didn't take kindly to intruders. The locals avoided the area, leaving Catherine feeling more isolated than ever. As night fell, the haunting escalated. Objects moved on their own, shadows danced just beyond the edge of her vision, and the whispers grew more insistent, sometimes morphing into agonized wails. One stormy evening, lightning illuminated a face pressed against her window, a gaunt visage with hollow eyes staring into her soul. Her scream was lost in the thunder's roar. Desperate for help, she contacted the local pastor, a man known for his willingness to confront the supernatural. He arrived with sacred texts and a resolute expression, ready to cleanse the house of its malevolent guest. As the ritual commenced, the air thickened, and an unnatural wind whipped through the rooms. Candles flickered violently before extinguishing all at once, plunging them into darkness. The pastor's prayers turned to screams as unseen forces pulled him into the shadows. "Find the truth," he bellowed before vanishing, his voice echoing into a chilling silence. Left alone, terror gave way to determination. Catherine realized that fleeing was futile. The entity had bound itself to her as much as to the house. Steeling herself, she ventured into the basement, a place she had avoided due to an inexplicable sense of dread. Armed with only a flashlight and sheer will, she scoured the damp, cold space. Behind a stack of rotting crates, she discovered a hidden door, its surface covered in the same scratches that plagued her living room. Pushing it open, she entered a chamber lined with cryptic symbols and aged journals. The writings revealed the recluse's descent into madness, his experiments to bridge the gap between the living and the dead. He hadn't vanished. He had succeeded in trapping his own soul between worlds. As she whispered a prayer for his tormented spirit, A blinding light filled the room. The oppressive atmosphere lifted, replaced by an eerie calm. Relief washed over her until a cold breath grazed her neck. A shadowy figure emerged, whispering in a voice that resonated with ancient sorrow. The house chooses its guardian. Before she could react, it dissolved into the darkness, leaving her alone once more. A newfound weight settled upon Catherine's shoulders. The hauntings had ceased, but the quiet was laden with unspoken obligations. She understood now. The house required a keeper of its secrets, and she had been chosen. The forest seemed to draw closer, the trees bowing as if acknowledging her new role. Stepping outside, she gazed into the shadows, no longer fearful, but filled with a solemn resolve. The untold stories of the house were hers to protect, bound to her until another soul stumbled upon this place. The wind whispered through the leaves, carrying echoes of the past and portents of the future. Catherine turned back toward the house, its silhouette a dark sentinel against the moonlit sky, knowing that her life would never be the same. If you were captivated by Catherine's chilling journey and crave more tales that send shivers down your spine, make sure to subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to like this video and share it with fellow horror enthusiasts. There's much more lurking in the shadows, waiting just for you.